Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking all about what would be our pre-E3 predictions. Also, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had a new trailer, and a lot more news. My name is Steve, and I am, of course, joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Great to have you, and also great to have you, Greg. How's it going?
Things are going good. Great to be back. Love doing our podcast discussions.
Absolutely. So today is a pre-recorded episode. Normally we do this podcast out live, and we go ahead and stream it on our Twitch and YouTube. But because of some scheduling conflicts, we had to go ahead and pre-record this one. But yeah, if you're joining us as it's premiering on our YouTube, feel free to go ahead and throw all your thoughts there in the live chat still. And if some of us will be in the chat and able to interact with you guys as well. Or if you're listening after the fact or watching after the fact, be sure to let us know your comments on all the different stuff that we talk about today. We absolutely love interacting with you all. And yeah, doing that in between episodes as well. If you follow us on our social media, we are over on Twitter at NintendoFuse, and we can also join our Discord. The link is on the screen, but also in the show notes and the YouTube description. We absolutely love connecting with you guys in between episodes over on social media and our Discord. It's a great place to just, keep connecting and talking video games and so much more. It's a growing community, and we're so glad to have you all. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking a lot about what would be our pre-E3 predictions and a bunch more news that came out. A Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer just dropped this morning. We're recording this on June 1st and it just dropped this morning. So we'll be talking about that. But before we get into any of that, one more reminder, be sure to like and subscribe and share this with others that enjoy video games. And let's get into what we have been playing. We'll go over to Barry first.
Yeah, so on the Switch, I'm still doing Animal Crossing and Pokemon Unite. Also, messing around with this game called Cannon Brawl. It's like a real-time strategy game meets Worms. Really interesting. A lot of fun. So I was messing around with that. On the Super Nintendo app, I messed around a little bit with Kirby Superstar because it was a requirement for like 100 platinum points on Nintendo, so I went through Spring Breeze and had fun doing that. And I also messed around with Joe and Mac, which is a game I loved as a kid, and as an adult, I'm like, this really isn't that good. Like at least the Super Nintendo version wasn't as good. I played the PC version. But then I also last night saw Steve log on to a game, and I'm like, wait, what? And he gave his feedback on Twitter. I'm like, wait, that's live? So I had to check it, and sure enough, the Super Mario Strikers Battle League test kick loaded up, and I could do the practice. So I messed around with the practice and realized I'm not very good at the game. Like one thing I need to do, you can manually choose who you control. I need to make it do auto because
Mm,
so many times the ball goes away and I'm like moving. I'm like, oh, I have to push a button first.
mm.
Like just let me auto go to the closest person. That's the way I used to play, soccer or hockey games as a kid. Like let me just do it that way. It's what I'm comfortable with. But it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the online session this weekend, which, if you're watching this, that's already happened. So I probably have already played it. So the future me can probably tell you how I liked it. But I'm sure I'm going to get my butt kicked. So if you're playing against me, congratulations on the easy win. Um, on the N64 app, um, I went and played Kirby 64 because that dropped on the 20th of May. And that's one of the few Kirby games that I actually never played. Well, only I never really played to its entirety. I was in high school when it came out. I didn't get as many games, and I didn't get Kirby. I heard it was, short, and I was looking for more meaty, replay because I was only getting a game, every couple of months. So I wound up picking it up pre-owned years later and just never sat down to play it. So I played through it 100%. Got all the crystal shards, and I can say it's honestly, I know some people love this, and this may be blasphemy, but it's one of my least favorite Kirby games out there. The powers are weird. My favorite ability, Cutter, or one of my favorite abilities, Cutter, is bastardized in this, and the mixing of abilities is cool, but I didn't like a lot of the cryptic stuff of what power-ups do you need to get each of the crystal shards, and I didn't have time to look, so I looked it up, like, oh, what do I need? What combination do I need to bring in? Okay. Um, but I mean, it was an okay game. It was short. It was still fun, but I think it was lower tier for a Kirby
Mhm.
game. And I'm sure if you love Kirby 64, I'm sorry. Um, I grew up with Dreamland and Dreamland 2 and Adventure, and those have a little spot in my heart. And just coming off of Forsaken, or Forgotten Land, it really feels archaic. 64,
Mm.
that early 3D. The
Yep.
64 is not aged well,
No.
but I'm glad I went through and played it, and I do recommend it if you haven't played it yet. On the PS5, Elden Ring. I beat it. I never thought I would beat this game ever. I thought this game was going to be something that I would never be able to touch, let alone complete. The final boss took me a little bit, but I still beat it, and I had a great time. I beat all the optional bosses that I was able to find, all the demigods. This game is something else.
Hmm.
This is really a really cool experience, and I will say, as somebody who is not a fan of the Souls games at all, I tried them, I just didn't like them. Give this one a shot. This one is different. It's more accessible. It's easier, and I did it all offline. Now, they did put for the weekend, I think they gave us everyone like free, so I was online for the last weekend. Got to watch people die, which was pretty funny. I helped out a couple people, just to try out how it was. But definitely recommend giving that a shot.
Hmm.
PC still doing Final Fantasy 14, and mobile, Dragalia Lost and Mario Kart Tour. However, I do have as however, I have quit Dragalia Lost. I have done
Oh.
it.
When
I've
does the
decided.
when does it all end? Is the end of this month? Is that right, or next
No,
month?
no, no. It's still going on. I'm gonna go back and finish the story when they drop story content. I want to finish the story, but I realize I'm spending all this time and energy, even running auto stuff, to farm items I'm never gonna use. I don't. I'm like capped out on like so many of the items. Like you
Mm.
can't take anymore, and I'm like, well, I was hoarding them till they added stuff to upgrade, but they're never doing that. And even if they do, who cares? The game's going out. Why am I spending my time and energy? So it was like a drug, It's like a quick cold turkey. I'm
Mhm.
like, that's the way I got to do it. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do the story because I want to see the story, and I recommend going and playing the game for the story. But there's no reason to sit there and endlessly farm stuff for things that are just going to disappear in a couple months.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, Greg, what have you been up to over the last couple weeks?
Well, as I was saying last time, I kind of dove back into Animal Crossing, so now I'm trying to get my island into a more finalized state where it's truly all my designs and ideas are encompassed on it. So I've been made a lot of progress getting that done, and like still like buying turnips and trying to get all the other stuff completed because I need tons and tons of money that never seems to come fast enough.
Just like real life.
Exactly.
Yep.
I wish money would be that easy to get. I want to just go hit some rocks in the backyard and some money just pops right out. That'd be great.
Oh man,
Shake some trees, get some clothes. Works out like that.
plant some money in the ground for it to grow into a money
Oh,
tree.
that'd be great.
Oh yeah, man. Real world implications. That'd be awesome. um, Yesterday we booted up Pokemon Sword and Shield and it just had some fun battles. So that was a little short spree there because like for both of mine, I've got the maxed out Pokedex. So I was just having fun playing around and with some battles with my daughter there. So nothing crazy going on there. I also did some more playing of Interdigiton, which I'll be talking more in depth in our game chat review today. And then I really hit it hard with the NES classic stuff, both on my actual regular Nintendo and the Switch NES app. So I was playing Super Dodgeball with my brother, did some Double Dragon 2 with him as well, and Spy versus Spy on the actual hardware. Contra was on the actual hardware, and then I also did like a few rounds of Punch Out and just had fun beating up the earlier guys until it got to the hard areas where it takes a little more dedication and practice to get through them. So I can usually make it to like a second bald bull pretty easily most times, but I don't know. It's still kind of rough to this day to go back and still try to play through some of those more difficult bosses. So then still on mobile, still doing wonderful Fire Emblem Heroes. It's as with Barry's Drug, it still goes strong. You got to grind out all that stamina, get all those crystals and all the orbs and stuff that you can get, and make sure everything is keeping your team strong and ongoing.
Nice. At least Fire Emblem is still making Nintendo money, so you don't have to give up on your addiction yet.
Yeah, it's the highest grossing game right now, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
Nice. So for me, I have been playing Rocket League and Clash Royale. Just get that out of the way at the beginning. Games that I pretty much always play. Also played some, like Barry said earlier, Mario Strikers Battle League. What was it called? Test Kick. And so yeah, only the training came out, and so until this weekend, like Barry said, I'll have possibly already played it. I'll be actually traveling this weekend, so I don't know if hopefully I'll get some time in with it. But yeah, I was incredibly skeptical of the game. Like the more I saw about it, the more I go, oh, have they changed too much from the Wii game that I'm not going to like it anymore? And so, but after getting into it, I think I'll like it. It doesn't seem like it's too much. The training is kind of annoying sometimes because, like, at the very beginning, you go through the basics. It's really easy, like pass the ball 3 times, or like, okay, cool. But after a while, like they put you in games and you have to complete all these expert moves. And like, if I was just playing the game, I feel like I would just use whatever move is necessary at the time. But to like try to specifically execute those specific moves during that time, I got scored on like a bunch of times. I was like, dang it. Like, so especially like the team tackle thing, like everything has to be perfectly aligned. And you want me to get 3 of these for sure? Like that's impossible. But other than that, like it was fun, and there's no like downside for not getting all those. It's not like you can't progress to the next training sort of thing. It was just like, oh, I got 100% on all of them until like the last 2. That's annoying. So like my brain is annoyed by it, but the game is fine. Like I was able to progress just fine. But yeah, it was fun. It's not terribly different. I think it's going to be interesting once you do get into the game and able to like pick your different characters and, you know, team up the perfect team that you want there based on the different abilities and statistics and everything on the different characters, but also your gear and everything. So you get to jump in and actually see the different gear and how it affects you, but you don't get to actually go through and choose it or anything. So it's cool to play around with, and like we said, it's free. So go ahead and just download it, play around with it, and see if you might enjoy it. And hopefully you guys had some good time with the Test Kick online over what will be last weekend. And finally, I played another game that probably shocked Greg and Barry. I ended up getting a code for Demon's Tier and played through Demon's Tier Plus. Actually played it on Xbox. I ended up getting both a Switch code and a Xbox code. So maybe we'll do something in the future with the Switch code. So make sure you stay tuned to our social media if we do that. But yeah, I have very mixed feelings about this game, guys. I really enjoy the play mechanics of this game. I didn't realize it was a twin stick shooter, which all of a sudden I was like, this is great. But it's like, you know, not an actual shooter, but, you know, RPG kind of stuff. It's very light on the RPG. I don't like all the extra story. I feel like they could have just said like, hey, you're going on this adventure, go. But I sat and watched the entire dialogue and all this stuff, and it's like, it kind of went on a little too long, but you can skip it. So if you're playing it, my advice, skip the dialogue. It doesn't really matter. If you're up for it, it's cool, but I would have rather skipped it. And then the game itself, I had fun with the game. What I don't like is the roguelike stuff. I don't like how I don't know whether it's better to die or to get out of the thing with a rope, because like if you die, you actually go back to that same spot and you can get your stuff back. If you get out of there with a rope, it's gone forever. You don't get your stuff. You just leave it or whatever. Like I upgraded like all this stuff and I was about to die, use the rope, and I'm back to square one with all my upgrades. That was annoying.
But you keep the one currency that you can then use to upgrade permanently like get characters and do that. So because there's the two different currencies.
Yeah.
There's the one, and that's the risk reward. Do you keep going in while you're more powerful, but if you die, you lose that other currency, or do you get out and spend it? And
Okay. So the first time I did it, the weapon store wasn't even open, so I couldn't do that. So that was the really annoying. Like the first time you do it, only the potion store or whatever is open, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I can get more hearts or upgrade my, get or not more hearts, but I can get potions to like keep me alive. That's cool. But yeah, I'm like, oh, all the weapon upgrades that I spent, all the different stuff, all gone. So that was really annoying. So I feel like it definitely pulls you in. You have to play it more. But it's like you make all this progress and then nothing, and so that annoys me. I don't mind that there's different levels when you go into it, because it's so simple that I don't care if it gave me a different layout for the world itself. That's fine, but I don't like that I have to start from square one
over and over.
What's that?
You'd probably get bored playing the same map over and over. Like, I gotta get back down to floor 8. I gotta go through 1, 2. I know these already.
Exactly. So I like how the objectives change up. I like how all that stuff. It's not consistent. Like sometimes I've played on the first level and it was like, oh my gosh, how can I actually get through this? And other times it was a breeze. So that's kind of weird. But I like all that. I just don't like that I have to start at square one every time. Like I understand if I die. But like if I get out of the rope, I thought I was going to be able to come right back in where I left off, and that is not the case. So I don't know. I have very mixed feelings, because the game itself I really, really enjoyed. I like the mechanics, the challenge, all that stuff was really fun. So
what class did you play as? Because there's like 8 different classes.
I just played as the main knight character, I guess. Yeah,
you can unlock some of the other ones, and they change up the gameplay considerably.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent probably maybe an hour and a half or so with it, and I just decided I was like, hey, I'm getting used to this character. I just stayed with it. It was cool that I could, once I started figuring out how to unlock the other character, like the ones that are locked away when you're progressing and stuff. Like at the beginning, I was like, I did everything in this level. How can I not unlock this? Like let this person out of their jail cell or whatever. And then I realized, oh, I have to buy that key. So different things like that were kind of like annoying, but it was like soon after I figured it out. So it wasn't like super annoying. It was just in the moment, I'm like, I don't understand what I need to do. But soon after I was like, oh, I buy the key, I go back and I unlock 2 of them. And that also helps like a ton too, because you get extra firepower from them. So But those are the games that I've been playing. So kind of probably shocked you guys to see Demon's Tier on there. Also wanted to show a couple things that so my wife got me a gift the other day. She was excited that we were going on vacation. She's like, here's a vacation gift, which is so cool if I get vacation gifts. Kudos to my wife for being awesome like that. But I got a new mug, and I think this should work.
That's awesome.
So every time you pick it up, it does different. Well, of course, it's not working right now. You heard that one. It has to be like sitting down perfectly, and there it goes. But anyway, it has different sounds and stuff as like if you're going in and out of the pipe, or the coin sound, or different things like that every time you pick up your mug. So it could get annoying after a while, but it's exciting right now. And Barry knows, I think Greg knows as well. I posted this in our Discord. I finally opened all my Hot Wheels, my Mario Kart Hot Wheels, and so I'm gonna play this video. If you're watching the video version, you'll see this on the screen if this works. I did unbox them all and got them up on my shelf and everything. So yeah, you'll see them right now if you're watching the video version. And it's pretty cool to have them all. I am missing from the ones that I know. I am missing, I think, one of the regular carts. It's like Rosalina's birthday cart. And then I think a couple of the ones with the gliders. And then, of course, I'm missing the San Diego Comic-Con special edition ones, the gold and silver ones that I will probably never own because they're way too expensive. But, if any listeners out there, viewers out there want to send them my way, just let me know. I think I pretty much have almost all the collection, which is exciting, but also a little sad when I thought about how much money I've spent on all these little plastic cars. Die-cast cards.
They're metal.
Yeah, they're a little bit of both, actually. The characters are at least plastic, but anyway, yeah. So it's been really cool, and yeah, if you're also watching, I think it's like above me right there on my shelf. So I had to move some things around and everything to make some room for it, but they take up a whole lot less space than they do in the packages.
Oh yeah,
for sure. But yeah, that was exciting to have out and everything. It was tough. Barry and I were going back and forth. He was like, "Just do it, man, just do it." I was like,
but it's therapeutic
it's so
though. Once
hard.
you do it, it's so therapeutic.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know
like,
about that, but the good thing was that my Mario glider cart had already had a break in the plastic, and so like that was the one I started with. I was like, you know what? It's already cracked. I got to open it now. It's not going to be worth anything if it's cracked. And that was my way of starting the whole thing. And after I did one, then the rest of them were easier to do.
it's all about, if someone says, "Oh, well, that's going to be worth money," and I have that same thing when it comes to like opening games and stuff. It's like if I'm not planning on selling it ever, then it doesn't matter what it's worth, because if it's ever sold, it's after I'm dead. Who gives a crap at that point? I'm dead. I'm not going to know. I'm not going to care. So enjoy it. Open it. Play with it. Enjoy it. Display it like you're doing it. Now, every time you walk by that shelf, you could see them all instead of just in a box or wherever you had them before, and get the joy of seeing them all and looking at them all and say, "Oh, I'm going to add one to the collection," and you get the joy of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's cool to actually have them out and everything too. And I just saw, I thought I had all of them except that Rosalina one. And then I walked in Walmart like a couple days ago, and all of a sudden I saw another one that I didn't have. So, who knows? And I feel like they just randomly release them anymore. So yeah, I'll probably keep getting them and, keep filling up that shelf. I may need another one soon because I think I'm gonna run out of space. But like I said, they take up a ton less space than they did in the box, so I'm happy about that for sure. We just filled up our recycle bin from all the different packaging. So, well, Greg, let's kick it over to you, and you can talk a little bit more about this game you've been playing and give us a solid review.
All right, so as previously mentioned, I was playing some more Enter Digiton: Heart of Corruption. It was a game I got sent by East Asia Soft back in last year, actually. I did play some more of it to be more familiarized for this more formal review. It's like a standardized Metroidvania type game where you're this little Ahab robot thing that was constructed. The tutorial is set up in such a way that like it teaches you all the controls, and then as soon as you try to move on, like it tries to tell you, "Oh, murder this innocent bunny," and then like as the player, then you're not allowed to do that, and then you get sent as a reject into this land like underground cave area. So that was very well set up to have like a separate tutorial that one teaches you how to play, but then also perfectly sets up the entire story of what to expect going forward. So as you're seeing through the trailer, it's like a 2D Metroidvania type of game. You can jump around, you find new abilities, or you can do like double jumps, and you can also do like dashing moves in pretty much any of the 8 cardinal standard directions to help you get even a little bit of speed / a direction to like make like some more difficult jumps and like move faster through areas. It's got the NES style difficulty of seems like it's somewhat unforgiving at times, but there are checkpoints and stuff that allows you to just reload at the last checkpoint, and it even saves any of the masks or souls that you pick up like right after you died. So then you can kind of go back to where you were, but you don't have to reclaim any of the hidden secrets that you found along the way. So there's these primordial souls that are hidden throughout the game. You locate them and you can take them to the store and get some new masks, and the masks represent different abilities that you get. So you can exchange out like a little bit of your health to get a little bit more speed, or maybe you want to have your weapon more powered up to be stronger, but then you're slower. There's all these different give and takes and pluses and minuses of these different masks that you can wear throughout the adventure. So you start like a main hub, and they were showing some of the areas. You find some different colored keys, and it allows you to unlock certain areas. In like true Metroidvania's fashion, you can tackle like the 4 areas in any order that you want, as long as you found the intro key to that area. And then you can even revisit those areas after you get the different power-ups that you get throughout the adventure to find additional secrets that you missed the first time through. So it's a very fun game to be like playing through is you're just like this little robot guy, and there's lots of enemies that are trying to defeat you, but they're still is pretty generous with giving out several checkpoints in each of the different areas that come across that automatically save your game and automatically refill your health bar all the way back up to full. So you're not like it's very fun to find that checkpoint right when you're down to your last bit of health. So it's right now it's $8, and I would definitely recommend getting this game. It's very fun to enjoy, like a perfect like little pixel art adventure that has really solid soundtrack, and you get to slay a bunch of these different demons as this little robot figure, and it's a ton of fun to be had. So I would definitely give it a high recommendation to pick it up, as I had enjoyed my time with the game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I never actually. I don't think I'm sure East Asia Soft probably showed it off on one of their presentations, but I totally did not remember this game at all. So that's cool.
Same.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah, it was like I think from like the September indie thing. I think I saw it or whatever, and that's where I decided to request for a code, and then it's just been kind of sitting around since October on the backlog, as a lot of other holiday games came up, and even in the springtime a number of other games like kind of took priority for us. So I'm just glad to be able to get that out there and get that completed. It was a very fun game for me to play, and just remembering just what I had previously played like the before. So I'm probably going back to finish it up when I get some more opportunities here.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, guys, it's June, and normally we are getting ready for E3. And this typically is our pre-E3 predictions show. And we talk about all the things that we're hoping to see at the show. And for the last couple years, we've not had that ability. We've talked a little bit about like pre-stuff, but we have not had E3 in the last like 2 or 3 years. So
last year we had E3. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, I guess so. It's technically E3. But we have not had a real E3 in a while. But yes, technically, yes. Last year we did have an E3, but this year we have nothing at all officially. But it's probably going to happen. Maybe we're going to have another June Direct, possibly. So before we get into any sort of predictions, what we might see, I'd love to just let's spend some time, talking about will we actually see this June Direct? Do you think it's going to definitely happen at all? What do you think, Barry?
I would be very shocked if it didn't happen. And the reason I say that is these things aren't something that just, hey, you know what? Let's do it. Right? Let's just do it. Let's throw something together. There's writing, there's editing, there's piecing together to put all this as a show. And this all happens beforehand. This is all pre-done. And when looking at the schedule, the release schedule, Nintendo has to look at their games and space things out accordingly to release games. And they typically seem to have 3 directs a year now. They have one in the winter to talk about spring, summer, which is usually June, to talk about summer games, and then fall to talk about fall games. And that seems to be what we're getting. We're getting 3 major directs now a year. And while E3 is canceled, that just happened, 2 months ago or whatever it was announced that it was canceled. Nintendo's not going to be like, all right, let's just cancel our plans then, because they already did their own thing. They didn't have to rent the show floor anymore. It's all recorded. So I absolutely would be surprised if Nintendo did not have a direct planned for June, if not June, maybe July, but at least the summer time period, because of things like that. It's not something that's thrown together on a whim. This is all pre-planned, and this direct was probably planned last year, at least with the majority of the stuff to be shown off. Maybe the sizzle reel is different, but the big stuff, it's probably like a board at the Nintendo of America, or here's where we're going to display each game and highlight each game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Greg, what do you think?
I definitely fully agree with Barry. I know these things definitely take lots of time and lots of effort to come together and put together, and I don't think that they would just be like, oh, well, E3 is gone, we don't need to do it anymore. I think that it's still a good idea that they get this out there. I mean, I think there's still some, I guess you can call them holes in the fall winter release schedule, and then they also like to do those big huge teasers for games in the even for the spring and onward. Like, and even like that's how we found out about Metroid Prime 4. I mean, no one ever expected that. I mean, I understand the game's still not here yet, but I mean, they still do those kind of major announcements at E3. I mean, could it even be a Switch successor? Who knows? I mean, you hear the rumblings from like their reports and stuff, and you never really know what to expect. So I would almost put money down that some point this summer we will see the direct, whether it's in the formal E3 timeframe will be remain to be seen. But as you know, like our podcast predicts these shows pretty darn well, so I'm pretty certain for our next episode after this one, we'll be like, oh, well, how about that E3 direct that our this podcast predicted? So
Yeah,
never really know.
that's true. That's true. So speaking of predictions, I think you guys are pretty much spot on. I think I don't know why we wouldn't see something this summer, especially because Nintendo's not a small company. They're going to be planning ahead on all these things, and they may have to do some re-recording. Maybe they initially called it their E3 Direct or something like that, E3 presentation. And now they're going to have to go back and maybe redo that voiceover and say, okay, now it's our June Direct or something like that. But those are small changes that they can make after the fact. But we did go to our Twitter last week, and we just asked everybody if we thought people would see we would all see the Breath of the Wild sequel during the summer direct, and 54% of people that answered said yes, 46% said no. So I'd love to just kind of talk about predictions. Like, are we going to see Breath of the Wild? Are we going to see Metroid Prime 4? Are we going to get to see the Switch successor? Are we going to see, Pikmin 4? I don't know. Like, what could we be seeing based on what we know? Let's go back into speculation town. What do you think we're going to actually be able to see this summer when they finally do this direct, whenever it happens? Most likely going to happen. What are we going to see?
I do not think we're going to see any Switch successor. I absolutely do not. I think if we're going to see a Switch successor, it's going to come in the winter direct, the January, February. And the reason I say that is because if they announce a Switch successor now, it can only cannibalize holiday sales versus announcing in January or February for later that year. That gets the hype built up. You don't want to cannibalize your own sales. So I could be wrong, but if there is a Switch successor, but if they decide to show it off, I highly doubt it's going to be during this. I do think Breath of the Wild 2 will make an appearance in some form, but, and here's a but, they could look at their previous announcement about it being delayed till next year and say, we don't really need to. It's already hype. We want to use this direct to build hype. So I could see both sides of the coin. I do think we're going to see Bayonetta 3. That's supposed to come out this year. I do think we're going to see that. I'd like to see Metroid Prime 4 or some kind of Metroid something. There's always a possibility, but again, that could be delayed. I'd like to get a release date for Advance Wars. Like, come on, let's get that game out there. That poor game. It's done. The game is done. Just get it out there. I do think we're going to see a little bit of Xenoblade 3. And the reason I say that is because that was originally planned for the fall. So I think they had something there set to go for it. And obviously it got moved. So I think they're still going to show what they're going to show and just be like, hey, it's coming next month. I also think we're going to see Splatoon 3. I think the same thing. They were planning on releasing it in July and showing a case. Now it's September. I do think we're still going to see Splatoon 3 as well. What I do also think is I think we're going to get some kind of surprise announcement, at least one. Because usually they save the E3 for some kind of surprise. We know Retro is working on Metroid Prime 4. Maybe we'll see a new Donkey Kong. Maybe we'll see something else. I don't know how much of the Retro team is working on Metroid Prime 4, but they didn't start working on Metroid Prime 4, which means they were working on something else prior to. Who knows what the heck's going on with that. But I just want to see some embracing. And I do think we're going to get more NSO as well. I do think the rumors of the Game Boy and Game Boy, Advance and all that, Game Boy Color, I do think those are going to come to fruition in E3. I think that's the time to do it. Get people hyped. It's summer. Remember those games. Let's bring it out there. We might even get a trailer for new games coming to NSO and the existing systems. And if it is, it's going to be big. It's good. If they're going to put it in that show, it's got to be some big releases that people have wanted. So we'll see. Maybe Mario Party 1, 2, and 3 for 64 will magically drop, or who
GoldenEye.
knows. Oh God, GoldenEye would be incredible if they did that.
Except for it's awful now.
Oh, it is, but just to have the original, who knows? That's just my predictions. Of course, you can't put money down on Nintendo other than the safe things. Like there's probably going to be a sizzle reel with games coming out this summer. I can't tell you what's going to be shown in that sizzle reel, but I'm fairly certain there's going to be one towards the end.
Right.
And there's going to be a one more thing, like those are my thing. One last announcement. But it's really tough to say because we've been echoing the same talking points for how long now?
Mm-hmm.
Pikmin 4, Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, Switch Pro or Switch 2, Bayonetta 3 even for a bit. We've been echoing that. And eventually they have to come true. Broken clock is right twice a day. But I feel so dirty just echoing the same things over and over. Like this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time. So of course those are things I want to see, but I don't really know. I mean,
Yeah.
Nintendo's been pretty silent, and obviously Pokemon, which we'll be talking about here, is in a little bit. They're doing their own thing. Like Pokemon is like divorced from Nintendo Directs at this point. Oh, you take that out. What are they going to show?
But they've done that before as well. Like if they have like a big game coming out, they have separated Pokemon before.
Oh yeah.
So because and then typically because they have bigger stuff to show, well not bigger stuff, but more stuff to show, so they put Pokemon in its own thing. So if that holds true to the past, then we should see some big stuff coming out this summer. Greg, what do you think about when you think about this direct? What are you hoping to see, or what are you thinking they'll show off?
I mean, just to put it simply, a lot of the stuff that Barry was talking about, I feel like would pretty much be hit the nail on the head. Like, I do think we would see a new trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. I would definitely love to see any type of trailer for Metroid Prime 4. I think Bayonetta 3 is at least a little bit more likely because we're finally approaching its actual like time frame to release. So they pretty much would be like pretty silly not to show anything off at that point. There's definitely going to be some big surprise hits in there. Is it going to be like another Mario sports game? Because I know even though Strikers is hitting in just like a few weeks here, I mean, does it mean we're going to get like a Mario baseball game, or we can get a different type of sports game that they haven't even done before? Because it seems like they have been following the specific pattern. They've already done tennis, they've already done golf, and they even brought back soccer. And I think baseball is like one of the main ones that hadn't established like 2 games at least like in this previous series. So is that next? Is it going to be another Super Mario Party like Superstars 2 type of thing? Like, are we going to bring back some of the GameCube boards and everyone's favorite mini games again? I mean, or are we finally going to actually have a real Mario Party game that's in line with the original 8 games, like an actual new one with new boards and new games, but plays very similar to like one through 8.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I mean, I feel like that would be more like the shocking game, as we already have like the big holiday releases with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and obviously we have some heavy hitters hitting this summer with Xenoblade 3 and Splatoon 3. So I don't know how much more pack they can really jam into the fall. So I feel like the bigger announcement will be like one of those Mario like off games or whatever, because it's obviously not Mario Kart because it's getting more tracks. I mean, we'll probably see a little teaser at the next 2 cups or whatever they're dropping, and maybe even more of like a release schedule for the other parts of the DLC. I mean, it's a lot can be shown that we don't even know about. In terms of NSO, I definitely think the Game Boy games are probably coming, and who knows if it's going to be in addition to the expansion pack, or is it going to be the new expansion pack plus DS? I mean, I don't know. I mean, remains to be seen. I would hope it's more included with the established packages, but you never really know with Nintendo at these points. So I would love to see more games added to the existing services for NES, Super Nintendo, and 64, but I really don't see them upping any communication on those, and it's just going to be just shadow drops every quarter or whatever. Like, here's one game for the quarter and enjoy. It's this game that you never wanted and don't care about.
Or thought was cool when you were a kid, and now it's not. Yeah, Greg, the thing that I was kind of getting excited about, all the games that we know that are coming out that they've announced already, and that's awesome. Like the Metroid and the Pikmin, and well, I guess Pikmin's still rumored, but Splatoon and Xenoblade and Pokemon and all these different games. But at the same time, like, I think I'm not alone. You guys probably think this as well. I think we've talked about this a couple times, but I would love something new. I hope to see something brand new from Nintendo this E3 season, because we've gotten, they're all sequels. They're all just the next version of this game, this IP that we've seen for years and years and years. We've talked about how I'd love to bring back some old IP that has maybe since been forgotten or almost forgotten. But I'd love to see something brand new again. Like, I can't remember the last time. I mean, I can, but I can't remember the last time that something was so not only brand new, but also so shocking that like revolutionized Nintendo as a gaming company. Like, they've had a couple new IPs in the last several years, but this, like, I think Splatoon maybe was the last time that they introduced something that was just, oh my gosh, this is like now a thing. Like, I want to see that kind of IP, that like they have this next thing that really just changes it up, and it's not just the next version of their long-lasting IP. Because I love those games. It's great. I'll play any Mario, Zelda, Metroid game they throw at me, but I want to see something new. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what I was saying. Like, one big surprise, they absolutely, they pull some stuff every single time. Like, even if it's a remake of a game that, we've been like, wait, what? Doing stuff like Famicom Detective, Club, doing things like Advance Wars, pulling games from the past. Mario Strikers was one that, wait, what? So even if it's an older IP brought back, would be fantastic. But I'd love to see some brand new ideas with new characters, and they've tried it, and unfortunately, sometimes they just don't work. They did like Ever Oasis, was a great game, didn't stick. Obviously Dylan's Rolling Western and Box Boy were more recent ones that did decently well, but didn't set the world on fire. I'd love to see some brand new characters, a brand new world. Dragalia Lost. I mean, that's a brand new IP that I've been playing for years. Do something with that IP. Boom. Get us a single player Switch game. Tell the story. I feel like we're all hoping for something like that. I think every Nintendo fan, or every gaming fan, is always hoping for that. Whether they deliver or not is another story, and even if they do deliver, whether it's well received is a completely different story. So I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love to see a new IP and new characters, new worlds and stuff, and I would definitely try it out and would love to see that happen. I don't know if like this year is the one, as there's a lot of those established sequels are on the horizon and already like in the books to be shown, but they can still blow me away with something new. That would be completely fantastic. Who knows? I mean, is it finally going to be the Star Fox game everybody wants? Who knows? Is it going to be F-Zero? Who knows? I mean, the sky is definitely the limit, and who knows really where this could be going. I mean, it could be any sort of genre. It could be any sort of new IP that they can come up with, or just pull something that's been long forgotten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yep. So if all goes well, and they stick to their previous schedules, should be our next episode, episode 254. We should be talking about whatever they announced during this just June Direct, if it does in fact happen. But if it doesn't, if they hold off till July or even August, I don't know if they will. We'll eventually talk about it. So make sure you do stay tuned to the podcast and also to NintendoFuse.com. All our social media will be posting all about that stuff for sure when it happens. So let's move into some of the stuff that did happen. And like I said, we're recording this on June 1st, even though we're releasing on June 6th, but we're recording on June 1st. And just yesterday, on May 31st, we got a little tweet from Pokemon. And Pokemon said that there's a new trailer that drops. And even though this specifically says new trailer, Greg and I were talking about this a little before we started recording. Both of us thought it was going to be a whole presentation. And so I got up early this morning. That's like 7 o'clock where I am. And I was like, all right, I got up early. I'm like, I'm going to be able to take all this in before we record the podcast. And then we see a 4-minute trailer that dropped on their YouTube. And I was like, oh, yep. That's unfortunate. I could have just watched this right before we started recording, but that doesn't take away from the excitement itself. So the trailer, like I said, dropped on June 1st and showed off gameplay from the game. We haven't seen gameplay really before, so we saw some gameplay, 2 new professors, some additional Pokemon, the legendaries, and the ability to form parties with up to 3 of your friends and play online that way. So that's really cool. They also did announce that starting a couple days ago, May 29th through June 4th, they're going to have a bunch of different content on their Twitch channel. So you can check that out, twitch.tv/Pokemon. And then, we get to see new from the Pokemon the series is coming. Pokemon TV is going to have a bunch of new stuff for from now until June 9th. So a bunch of different things happening with Pokemon, specifically Scarlet and Violet, but so much more. And did you guys get a chance to check out the trailer? And if so, what did you think of this game?
I was already hooked, ready for Scarlet and Violet. And the reason I was hooked, and I didn't do Diamond and Pearl's remakes. I did do Sword and Shield, but it takes a lot for me to get into a Pokemon game to really say, yes, I'm going to be playing this game. And what got it for me was simply one word, Arceus. Arceus blew me away. Arceus was the game I had wanted for so many years, and I absolutely loved it. And to see Scarlet and Violet build upon that, to do the mainline Pokemon stuff in that type of gameplay, that open world, it has me excited. The co-op, if I was still in high school, man, that co-op would be phenomenal. Absolutely would be going crazy with it. Now, maybe I'll play with my wife if she's, feeling up to playing. Maybe we can all play. But it's not as big of a thing, as an adult versus kids. But I think for kids, it's going to go over extremely well. And just this looks so much better than Arceus. And Arceus, I had a blast playing from beginning to end. So I am really excited to see where they take this. And like I said, I was already hooked. This trailer just cemented it. I don't need to see anymore. I know November 18th, I am looking forward to absolutely playing it. Now, whether I play it on launch is a different story. It depends on what I'm playing, what else comes out, because there's a lot of games coming out that time of year. But it's certainly on my radar for 2022, for sure.
Nice. Greg, what do you think about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
I definitely got much more intrigued in it. I mean, being a lot more affiliated with it through Sword and Shield, it's definitely cemented that this is going to be like a good series to continue on with, because they are really showing off those new features, with Barry was saying with the co-op mode. Seems like it'd be a lot of fun for both my daughter and I to go through and be able to actually be playing it together. I don't know if it's limited to just the wild area, or if you can actually do the story together, because that would be a very cool element to be able to do the gym challenges with my daughter at the same time, and then I don't have to play the same gym 2 to 3 times just to get it completed. So that would be phenomenal, just to be able to work together and both be playing at the same time.
Yeah.
I did seeing the starters a little bit more in detail. They actually showed them battling and moving around, and that was kind of really cool. So I was I'm a little bit more interested in using the water duck this time around, even though I really love like the fire starters and all the few that Pokemon games I've played. But who knows? The grass cat also looks very stinking cute as well. So I feel like this will be like the hardest one to actually like pick like a starter, and be kind of envious of seeing like the normal encounter trainer using like one of the starters, other ones that you wanted. But
yeah. I don't know which starter I'm going to use just yet either, and this is definitely like I don't get every Pokemon game, and I feel like this is like jumped ahead far enough where I feel like it's definitely warranting me getting the next one. But I'll have to figure out which starter. I may end up with the same starter as you, Greg. I'm not sure. But I like the idea of us going into this this multiplayer thing. I think I'm pretty much on the same page with you. I think, Barry, if I was younger, I probably would be getting a lot more excited about it. But it is still intriguing to be able to, if you have the time to be able to jump in and actually, play with your friends and progress, or even if you can't progress through the game as much, I think you might be able to, but even if you can't, like if it's just a certain area, it'd still be really fun to be able to do that. It says like explore various locations of the region, and so I don't know if it's like, it seems like it's kind of the wild area plus, and that would still be fun to be able to dabble around with and to do some different things with. The new professors, I know people are excited about having a female professor again, and be able to have new characters and all that sort of thing. That's never really, I don't know, that's never really excited me as much. The characters in Pokemon are not the reason I play Pokemon. I play Pokemon for the Pokemon itself and for the gameplay itself, and be able to explore and experience the adventure. But it is cool that they're venturing out there and doing some different professors, some different characters, and all that sort of thing. Barry, did you get a chance to look at the different characters, and what do you think?
I thought the characters were interesting. I like the different designs. Pokemon's always, had some different character designs. I do feel like the human characters have gotten a little bit better as time goes on, and some people point out the Pokemon designs have gone the opposite way. It almost feels like Disney rejects or Pokemon rejects, or the stuff you would see in like fan games now as official Pokemon. And you know what? That's going to happen when you're dealing with how many now, over 1,000. I mean, they're not all going to be winners.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will like things, some people won't. But I think the designs are cool. I did see some theory about, time periods. Like if you look at the professor's outfits, the male, I don't know their names, so I'm just going to say the male is like more modern, like almost like futuristic with the lab coat. But then you look at the female, and she's got a lab coat, but it's like a loincloth and like a teeth necklace and stuff like that. So it almost looks like maybe it's like doing the Arceus thing, like past. Maybe time travel will be an element, and one game is set in the past and one game is set in the future, and there's a time travel element there, and there'll be extinct Pokemon, because Arceus was set in the past too. So maybe they're joining on that, or she just really likes the caveman style of dress. I don't know.
And he really likes to go, futuristic. It could be it's both. Yeah, but something really in the middle. It could be interesting. Yeah, would they bring in like time travel or something like that into the storyline?
Yeah, that seems like it'd be really cool. I mean, definitely seems like it's like a cave woman meets like Daft Punk kind of thing, like for the professors. But
what do you guys think of the legendaries? Koraidon and Miridon is how I think they're probably pronounced, something like that. I probably butchered them, but I feel confident about it. Greg, what do you think about the legendaries now that you've experienced a little bit more of Pokemon and you're more familiar with all those?
I honestly liked both designs a lot. I mean, I had a little bit of trouble trying to pick between like Sword and Shield and even like Diamond and Pearl, because it just seemed like it was it's still like they're both like really cool, and it'd be great to have them both. And obviously you need both games to be able to get them both to at least to the Pokedex or whatever. But I'm probably gonna be more leaning just on the Scarlet one because I know my daughter is more interested in playing Violet first. So um, I still want to collect like Miriam because it looks like it's a really cool. It's like a water dragon kind of style, and the other one is just more of like a standard, like a two-legged, like a dragon, a dinosaur hybrid thing. And
Mhm.
I honestly like the designs of both of them.
Nice. What do you think, Barry?
I know I'm going to be playing Scarlet because violet and purple is my wife's favorite color, so I know she's going to be playing that one, which is fine because I actually like Scarlet's design a little better, but I like both of them. I think both of them look cool. We've had some legendaries that haven't looked the
Mm-hmm.
greatest, but I like the looks of these. Like I can definitely see these going on my team and feeling
Mm-hmm.
like I'm cool with this. Like I'm happy to have this because
Yeah.
we've had some lately that have just been like, really, what even are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, the internet is going crazy over Lechonk. I don't know if you guys have seen all morning. It's like Lechonk is the thing. Like forget about the legendaries. Lechonk, the the pig kind of Pokemon that just looks. It's like a little fat, little sad pig called Lechonk. So yeah, what do you guys think about Palmy, Lechonk, Smoliv? Who knows how you pronounce that? But the new Pokemon that were shown off. What do you think, Barry?
Oh, LeChonk Boston. I mean, come on. Just I could see my wife hasn't seen him yet, but I could totally see her being like, "Oh my God, I want him! Like he's so cute. I just want to pick him up and hug him." Um, they I mean, they look fine, and they look more like Pokemon than the starters do.
Hmm.
In that sense, like legit Pokemon as opposed to like a knockoff,
Mm-hmm.
the Wish version at home.
Yeah.
You see the same patterns though with a lot of Pokemon games. Start with Rattata and Pidgey, and you start seeing versions of them in each game, kind of deals. Like these definitely seem like early Pokemon you'll experience in the first area or two, and the poor trainer boy or girl you meet on the side of the road that's like, I have my first
Yep.
Pokemon, and it's Lechonk, and like then you find him later on in the game, and he's like, I'm gonna fight you, and it's still Lechonk because he hasn't
Yep.
even evolved yet. Though, like that's what these feel like, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You need those early, basic Pokemon, but I like the Lechonks getting some attention, and I'm really curious to see what he turns into. Is he going to turn to a bigger pig? Is he going to turn to like a man bear pig? Is he going to turn into like an alligator for some strange reason? Because Pokemon evolutions don't always make sense. Who knows?
He'd be like Ganon.
Yeah, like how cool would that be? Like Ganon, the twin sword Ganon from
Yeah.
Ocarina, or the trident Ganon from Link to the Past.
There you go. There you go. Greg, what do you think about the new Pokemon?
I really like the designs. I mean, the first two definitely look a lot more like Pokemon's. The last one looks more like a redo of like Badoo, but I don't know. I don't know if it was just from watching like the cartoon again. It seems like it's very closely related to Badoo, like at least to me, at least, and also from that image. I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, sometimes there's like ones that look like there are others, and at least they're not going like, oh, it's just like a different form of Badoo, and it's actually going to be classified as its own separate Pokemon. So I would prefer that you just add more to the Pokedex instead of like, oh, here's the whatever violet form of Badoo or something. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I really don't know how they do that. Like they keep coming up with new characters that don't just immediately resemble one of the characters they've done in the past. I mean, at this point, do you guys know off the top of your head how many Pokemon actually exist? Like if you count all the different ones for different games, it's over 1,000, right? It's like well over a
Yeah.
thousand. So like, how do you keep making new characters that don't just look like everything else? Like my mind is you can't comprehend that. So clearly they have people that are much more talented than I am to be able to do that. But yeah, it always amazes me when I see a new Pokemon. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's a brand new design that I've never seen before. But I'm sure it can't happen every time. But yeah, I'm pretty excited with what I see, and it seems fun. I think that's the big thing. It seems like they've done a lot of stuff around this game to make it move into the direction that it needs to go, but it also seems like it's still going to be really, really fun. It's not like they've like matured the game so much where it's like, something like, that we're, that doesn't even resemble Pokemon anymore. That just kind of seems like the natural progression of where this game should go. And yeah, pretty excited. So you can pre-order it now, and it starts shipping or releasing and everything on November 18th. So it'll be exciting to get that game for sure. And yeah, maybe, who knows, with this multiplayer thing, maybe we'll actually be able to do some stuff in our Discord or something like that, and be able to play together. That'd be fun. Well, let's jump into some of the headlines that have happened recently, and we've got several today. But there's lots of different things that we want to make sure that you guys know about. So we'll go over those things quickly. Barry and Greg will trade off going over those, and then we will discuss them kind of in total at the very end. So Barry, go ahead and kick us off with the first one.
So Nintendo usually does this every summer, around every summer, but the Nintendo Switch Roadshow for 2022 is starting on June 10th. They'll hit several cities where they will be able to show off the Nintendo Switch, specifically the OLED model, where you'll be able to play demos of some of the latest games. That includes Nintendo Switch Sports, Mario Strikers, Battle League, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Sonic Frontiers, they released a new trailer to kind of display some of the gameplay that will be shown, be featured in the next game. So after a year of cinematic teaser trailers, the YouTube channel finally showed like what some of the gameplay would look like, and they also had like a exclusive coverage on IGN, or you can just enjoy watching the video that we have here on NintendoFuse.com.
After 28 years with Square Enix, a company dear to my heart, Shinji Hashmoto will be retiring from the company. He said, "Thank you, everyone. I will retire on May 31st, Tuesday," which is today as of the time of him saying this. "During my tenure, I am very grateful to all of you in various fields. From now on, I would like to support you as a Square Enix fan. I'm really thankful to you." So here at Nintendo Fuse, we wish you the very best in your retirement, Shinji, and thank you very much for your 28 years in the gaming industry with Square Enix.
As we continue to move forward with Animal Crossing, a Redditor had done some time traveling and discovered that in 38 years you will no longer be able to play New Horizons. So if you set the date to 2061, you will receive an error message to say to please set it before 2060, and surprisingly enough, even after the year 2000. So there's obviously at least 60 full years there to enjoy, and you're always able to change the clock back if to replay any years that you might have missed on your island, but make sure to have your island in its perfect state before 2061. And we're playing on the new Super Duper Switch Pro U DS exclusive device with a New Horizons version 10.0.
Nice.
And on May 31st, Evercade had a second anniversary show. If you haven't heard of the Evercade or played the Evercade, this is a portable and a home console that contains cartridges filled with a bunch of different compilations from games of yesteryear, including many Nintendo favorites, although Nintendo hasn't put their own IPs on there just yet. But they announced on the 31st that they will be discontinuing the Evercade handheld and instead be replacing it with the new Evercade EXP, which looks remarkably like a Switch Lite. This plays all cartridges that you could already play on the Evercade. It will go up in September for pre-order, but you can pre-order the limited edition right now at Funstock, which is in black as opposed to white, funstock.co.uk. They also announced during this presentation 2 new arcade cartridges compilations, the IRAM Arcade 1 and the Toplan Arcade 1. These contain 6 and 8 arcade classics that you'll be able to play on this system, all legally. So make sure to get your order in if this is something that interests you and if you've been enjoying the Evercade architecture.
So, yeah, I'd love to kind of just quickly go through these and see what you guys think about all of them. Barry, let's go to you first. And what do you think about anything stand out to you? Any further thoughts about any of these?
I mean, the Roadshow doesn't do anything for me because they're not coming to my area, but B, I already games are going to be playing those games, or in Kirby's case, already beat the game. You don't need to sell me on the Switch. I'm already pretty cemented into it at this point. Sonic Frontiers has me really excited because I love open world games, and I've really wanted a good Sonic game for a while. I do find it funny that the Sega producers are saying that they're aiming to release a good game, which makes me wonder what they've been doing with like Sonic Forces and Sonic 06 and even the Sonic Colors remake. Have you not been aiming for a good game? Because you should have been. But the little trailer looks cool. The thing that worries me is like with open world games, you really need to be able to explore. You need to be able to find little hidden areas and take your time. And Sonic is anything but taking your time. So I'm worried about going around too fast and, running off a cliff and falling and dying, or, if they'll prevent you, or missing things just because you've gone by too quickly. But I am cautiously optimistic. I do plan to play Sonic Frontiers, so I am looking forward to it. As for Shinji, I've been a fan of his work this entire time. Square Enix is a company that has produced some of my favorite games of all time. So I'm very thankful for all of his service, and I wish him the very best in his retirement. Animal Crossing is just funny why Nintendo would do that. That's just so weird. So I don't know. Maybe we'll be playing at New Horizons then, or we'll have to remind our kids and grandkids, if you want to play this, make sure to set your clock back to 2020.
Right.
I already pre-ordered my Evercade EXP. I've really enjoyed the Evercade architecture and the system. I think it's really cool to see such a small company come out of nowhere to produce a quality product with quality customer service and physical media, most importantly, physical media, and really nice physical packaging as well. They seem to be really hitting it out of the park, and I hope they continue to do so. They're a nice alternative to the main three.
Yeah, I similarly agree with Barry regarding the roadshow. It's not something I typically follow, and like for me, it's like downtown at like a very crowded area called Navy Pier. So it's I'm already sold on the Switch. I've already purchased 2 consoles, one for me, one for my daughter. So not going to be trying to go around a huge crowded place to just see games that I either already have or played or whatever. So it's not going to be worth the time to follow that. The Sonic Frontiers kind of looks really interesting. I think that my daughter might actually enjoy the game a lot because she's really enjoying playing the classic Sonic games. And I know like the more recent ones, as Barry said, were not of the highest quality, even though they made to note that they're trying to make a high quality one this time. We certainly hope so. It looks pretty cool, and looking forward to check that out. Definitely wish Hashimoto his best wishes for his retirement, and hopefully he has a nice long time to be able to spend with family and do things he wants to do. And who knows, maybe it'll be a Reggie-style retirement, and you'll hear him join the GameStop board of directors as well. I don't know. Yeah, Animal Crossing not playable. That seems kind of odd that would be implemented. Normally they just kind of has like a forever game, and you would think that the clock could just keep going. And I almost wonder if they did that in previous installments of the game to stop people from playing it at some point. But I know there will be several Switch successors by that point, so it's not anything to really worry about, but it's very interesting that it's programmed in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in terms of the Evercade, that does seem pretty cool. I've been contemplating getting some like cartridges and stuff to maintain the ability to play some of those games physically on the older hardware, so it'll be something I'll be looking into in the future to add to my collection here at home.
Yeah, as far as the roadshow goes, it is it's actually coming to Denver. It's in Lone Tree, so it's a little bit further away. So I might head down there, depending if I have enough time, just to check it out and like see what it's like. Not something that I'm excited to like, oh, I gotta go check out those games because I have other ways to do that or whatever. But it could be a cool thing. It's not too far from us just to go and see what it's all about and everything. Exciting that Nintendo is able to get out there and do stuff like this again. That's always fun. Sonic Frontiers, I think I'm feeling the same way as you guys are, especially around like the 3D kind of stuff. I've never been a huge fan of the Sonic 3D games because of the speed of Sonic. It makes a lot more sense for it to be side-scrolling platformer like that because of the speed. You just get from one point to the next as fast as you can and blast through it. But to an open world kind of game naturally makes you want to explore, but you're controlling a character that moves faster than the speed of light. How do those two things go together? Am I going to enjoy it? I don't know. But the world itself looks awesome. I just hope I'm actually going to be able to explore it well instead of just blasting past it. And we're like, well, that was cool, but I'm on my next thing. Retirement of Hashimoto, that's cool. I mean, it's always sad to see people that like we get older, and he needs to retire. He's been in it for 28 years, created so many great games, and had his hands in so many different IPs that we've all really enjoyed. So it's sad to see him go, but at the same time, it totally makes sense. Like you need to enjoy those later years and be with family and all that sort of thing. So it's cool to see them moving into the fan kind of category. I don't know. Like if after being in an industry and being that kind of a person within the gaming industry for so long, that must be really weird and hard for him to kind of slide into like, all right, hands off, I'm just gonna be a fan now. So we'll see how that goes. I bet he's still making some phone calls every once in a while, like, hey, so I saw what you did with the latest game. I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, maybe he doesn't get a paycheck anymore, but I'm sure they still consult him for sure. Animal Crossing, it's just funny. I don't know why they would do that. And Evercade, Barry and I were talking to. It's like it's a cool system. Like I don't have the money to be able to throw at that sort of thing, but it's really cool, especially that limited edition one. Looks pretty awesome, and it was very tempting. But I had to tell myself, nope, Steve, wait for the Switch 2 Pro new whatever 10.0 that Greg was talking about earlier. So. So yeah, that's it's pretty awesome, and I think that the cool thing is to like being able to have systems like that are preserving games that some of those games that we've not been able to play, and now all of a sudden they're on a cartridge and you're able to pop it in there and play, and on a modern system, which is pretty awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, the handheld, the new one that they just announced, you can plug that into a TV as well, right? It's like kind of a hybrid thing. Yeah.
The old one you could too as well, but then there's also the Versus system that is a console that you can plug in the games. And one thing they did with the Versus system is they put hidden games on there. So like there are certain button combinations you could play games that are exclusive that way, or if you put in like 2 cartridges, a third game will pop up, like a bonus game will pop up that only played that way, and you can just play it for free. Just fun. Things they decided to do and have little secrets and hidden. There's like 11 or so hidden games on that system through different combinations, which I think is neat. Like they're having fun with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. So even more reason to check it out. Like we said, it has nothing to do with as of now directly with Nintendo, but still a cool system to have out there. For sure. So before we jump into what's coming out over the next couple of weeks, just another reminder, if you've not followed us on Twitter, be sure to do that at NintendoFuse. We'd love to interact with you, and that's where we post like quick news, videos, different things like that come out throughout the week. You can check out NintendoFuse.com, but our Twitter is where we kind of post a lot of quick stuff and kind of interact with our community there. But also, if you've not joined our Discord, we would love for you to join that. The link is on the screen, also in the show notes and YouTube description, and we love connecting with you all in there. We have the same kind of discussions that we can on social media, but it's a lot more in depth, and just to be able to jump in there and it's about video games, but sometimes just about stuff that happens in all of our lives and everything like that too. So it's a cool growing community that we have over there, and we'd love for you to join it. All right, before we wrap up, let's talk about what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks. Our next podcast is going to be dropping on June 20th, and we should be live for that one. So if you've not joined us live, be sure to join us on Twitch and YouTube at our both of those channels at NintendoFuse. But what we're going to be playing over the next couple weeks, again, thanks to Metacritic for putting out a list of what's going to be coming out. A couple of the big games, of course, are Mario Strikers Battle League, which will be dropping on June 10th, so just a couple days after this podcast drops. And then also Fall Guys finally comes out on June 21st, so the day after our next podcast, but still want to make sure you guys knew about that one as well. I'll keep scrolling these here on the video version on the screen. You can see the games that are coming out over the next couple weeks, but let's go to you first, Barry. Any games that are coming out that you're excited about, or if not, what games will you be playing?
I mean, I'll definitely be doing the first kick, Mario Striker's first kick, which will have already happened at the time of this aired, but I will be picking it up. Whether I play it all depends on how well I like the first kick. If I feel I'm good enough to keep playing, or if I'm just like, all right, I'm just not having fun. But in terms of new titles, I really don't have anything coming out that I'm like, oh my god, I really have to play until AI's sequel comes out, which is a little later in June. So I'm knowing that that's coming out, knowing July is big with Xenoblade and Live a Live. I'm kind of being a little more reserved. So I might go, another Kirby game I never fully did was Kirby's Dream Land 3. So I might actually go back and play that on the Super Nintendo app on the Switch, just to continue this little Kirby playthrough that I've been doing. I might go to the Switch wall and just be like, all right, you look cool. One title I've been thinking about is the Record of Lotus War game that came out, which is like a 2D Metroidvania. So I might wind up playing that. There's always a chance I go back to Yakuza 0, which didn't really grab me, but maybe I'll give it another shot. I don't know. I've had so much going on that I really haven't had time to think about what new game, because in my head, I did Elden Ring. Now AI is the next real big one on my radar.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, I'll probably be finally checking out Mario Strikers. As you noted, I didn't have that on my list. I totally forgot that demo came out, so that'll be pretty much what I'll be looking at definitely over the next few days, and probably subsequently purchasing it because I know my daughter's excited to finally play Strikers. So that'll be something that I'll be definitely looking into. That game called The Hand of Merlin kind of sounded interesting. It's like a roguelike RPG, so did seem kind of interesting. I clicked on to get some more details, and it seems like it might be a game that might put on my radar, at least to potentially check out. And then other than that, it probably won't be until like Fall Guys and like when Fire Emblem Warriors launches towards the end of the month, and hoping to finally finish up Fire Emblem Warriors, the first one that I had played right before the last podcast. So I'll probably what I'll be playing the next few weeks.
Cool. Yeah, I actually I've got a couple different games that I thought I'd be playing. Mario Strikers is the big newest one that I'll be definitely picking up for sure. But probably get some more time with Demon's Tier Plus. But also the publishing company, I think, let me know that they're going to be doing a package deal, I guess, with like a bundle on the eShop, and so that's where I got the games that are going to be in there, and I can't remember what those games are, but there's like 3 games that are being in a bundle, but they give me codes for all 3 of those, so I'm very grateful for those. So I'll probably be checking out them as well, but they're all like simpler games that I should be able to maybe get through a good chunk of before the next podcast. And then probably, since technically I am on vacation currently, so I have a little more extra time to play some games, I may actually be able to spend that time I really need to play through the Life is Strange 2. So
Yes.
actually make that happen. For sure, at least, was it Captain Spirit?
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be able to play through that because that's not going to take very long. But yeah, I think I should have enough time to play through that. Just as long as I'm not. I finished Stranger Things on Netflix, so that's good. I'm all caught up on that. I still got to watch the first now 3 episodes of Kenobi because we prioritized Stranger Things, so I got to do that. And then the Celtics are in the finals, so that's exciting. I got to watch some of that, and then we'll be traveling, so some vacation. So hopefully I'll be able to make all this happen and everything, but it would fit in some Life is Strange because I've been putting off that for a long time until I had time, and I think I may actually have some time before the next podcast finally being on vacation. So that's going to be my time. we are heading to Vegas for vacation, so I'm excited to possibly check out some cool arcades there. I think there's supposed to be one of the coolest arcade in the hotel that we're staying in, so I'm pretty excited about that as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing over the next couple weeks. So beyond games, what are you guys going to be doing? Are you be on any other podcasts, other appearances, or traveling, any shows or anything like that? What about you, Barry?
Well, I mean, as of this writing, there's just a few days left for pre-orders for Series 4 for Premium Edition. So, premiumeditiongames.com. Make sure to go over there and get Wonderling and Arraign Your Parade before they are done. We'll also have a second chance sale for Series 3. It starts June 2nd, so tomorrow as of the time of this recording. But they may all be sold out by the time this airs. But if they haven't, make sure to go over and get your games now before they're gone, because there's a lot of demand once people got to see the quality and get these games out there. And I want to get emails where it's like, oh, is there any chance I missed it? So make sure to go get those. I'll be on a few different podcasts. You can find me. One just went out yesterday, I think, as of this time of this recording, but I have another one going out later next week. Just really grateful for all the people that have been willing to, have me on and sit there and talk with me, because a lot of cool people I've met. And also, well, it won't be before next podcast, but the end of this month, I will be at Too Many Games in Pennsylvania, June 24th to 26th. So I'll put a reminder here, and I'll say it again next time. But if you are going to that convention, if you will be in that area, please stop by the Premium Edition Games booth. Come say hi. I would love to meet you. Looking forward to that for sure.
Cool. How about you, Greg?
Don't think I'll be doing any traveling, at least before the next podcast, but as I'm a part of Premium Edition Games, I'm just trying to get some of these orders shipped for Series 3 and just continuing to help out with the team as wherever I can. I'm hoping to see if I can maybe go to Too Many Games. That might be fun, but I just have to see if that all works out or if I'm needed over there. So possible potential to meet Barry, but who knows if time will allow that.
Well, it's been great to talk games with you all, and thank you all for joining us for another episode of the NintendoFuse Podcast. If you've not done so yet, follow us on Twitter at NintendoFuse, join our Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description. And of course, we love having you all for our live episodes. Usually every other Monday is when we record. Like we said, this one has been pre-recorded, but usually every other Monday, and we love having you on Twitch and YouTube in our live chat, just interacting with you throughout the episode. So if you've not joined us for a live episode, please consider doing that in the future. Our next episode is going to be recorded on June 20th, and we would love to have you there. But that brings us to the end of episode 253, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.